you should get some green confetti that says upload complete and the world is wonderful. So
I'm guessing Alex understands one of the great truths of the universe, which is you never really start and you never really finish. And if this podcast is a metaphor for anything, surely it must be that.
Wow. You know, you've just got that voice where anything you say sounds true. I mean, I tend to agree with that, but I wish I had that voice.
To start, thank you for the book. Got it sent up from my office a couple of weeks ago, along with your very kind thoughts there in the beginning and an invitation to reach out, which basically is what this is. Why did you send me the book?
I'm not a big TV watcher, so I've only seen a little bit of your stuff over the years, but I had seen that PragerU address you did.
Uh-huh.
And then I saw through several channels that really thoughtful post you had on fossil fuels on Facebook. And, you know, fossil future is for a lot of people, but one main audience is just influential people who are really willing to think about the issue. And you had already thought it through to a degree that was very unusual. So I thought, oh, this person might like the degree to which I've thought it through.
The reason I wanted to have you on is because of all of the people who are taking what I'll call a contrary position, not because it's an incorrect position, but because you're in the minority. You seem to be out of dams to give, as they say. You sort of went all in. I mean,
I like how you cleaned that up.
Thanks, Chuck. I've grown weary of you bleeping me, so I'm assuming you're okay with words like damn, shucks, darn it, and gosh. But
I'm pretty good with that. Yeah.
But I'd like to really actually start with Bill Maher. In his most recent rant, Maher talks for about 10 minutes. Have you seen it, by the way?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I
asked him, I posted about it. I asked him to come on the show to educate him about resource creation, but I haven't yet heard from the booker.
Yeah, no, you're not going to, which is why you're here. So I'll play the part of Bill Maher.
Okay.
So if you would, sum up what Bill Maher had to say and frame the argument as simply as you can in terms of humanity and the resources we have at our disposal. Oh, and the other thing, too, not to ramble, but, you know, Elon Musk is affirmatively saying the greatest crisis we face in 20 years is a population collapse. Bill Maher is affirmatively saying the exact opposite. Somebody's not just wrong. They're wrong with the capital R.
The capital R.
See what I did?
So do you want me to talk about that now, or do you want me to...
I don't care, man. Talk about, yeah.
Please do, yeah.
So are we actually started...
Just stop Mike from talking for a bit.
Are we actually started with the interview?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Look, we started with my observation at the alpha and the omega, right? There is no beginning, there is no end. So, yes.
Gotcha. Okay,
welcome
perfect.
to perpetuality.
Yes, so Bill Maher made an argument in response to the claims by Elon Musk and others, but most prominently Elon Musk, that population decline and in fact collapse is the biggest problem that humanity faces. And I won't go too much into that argument, but the basic thing is you have declining birth rates in the freest, wealthiest parts of the world for the most part. Those parts of the world having huge, among other things, entitlement states that have massive, massive commitments that we know we're very, very indebted to. And we are basically producing fewer people who can be very productive to support all of those things, in addition to just being able to support, you know, the broader world. There are many ways in which the wealthy world supports the poor world that are not appreciated. So that was what we can talk about what Musk said and what I would agree with and what I would amplify. But basically, Maher said, are you insane? Like, how could you possibly be concerned with the population decline of humans, since that is exactly what the planet needs? And he talks about a number of different crises, and I would just highlight that I do not attribute these crises uniformly at all to human impact. In fact, many of them are due to lack of energy in general, and fossil fuels in particular. But in fact, I think he talks about blackouts. And then he'll talk about different, various kinds of disasters. And the idea is that fossil fueled climate change is responsible for all of them. And that the more people you have, the more fossil fueled climate change you have, And more broadly, the more you impact our planet adversely, and actually the main thing he focused on was taking away too many resources from the planet. So he talks about, scarcity of food, scarcity of other things, not enough sand, this kind of thing. And, I think the basic thing that's going on is what I call in Fossil Future, the parasite polluter view of human beings and the delicate nurturer view of Earth. So the delicate nurturer means Earth exists in a delicate nurturing balance that is stable, sufficient, meaning it gives us enough resources if we're not too greedy, and it's safe. And then what human beings do with our impact is we're parasites, so we tend to take resources from Earth and then we pollute. So we make the Earth dirty or we destabilize it in different ways, such as the climate. And so this basic view, which is one of the originators or popularizers is Thomas Malthus, whom Maher explicitly endorsed as being right, which I found to be quite bold since Malthus is widely regarded as discredited. But he is clearly holding this view in a very pure form. And so his view is anything that goes wrong in the world is because there are too many of us having too much impact. And the observation I would make to contradict this is, in general, if you look at the available resources to human beings, those increase per person as population increases, and the threats to human beings decrease as the population increases. So with resources, you can take anything, but if you just look at income broadly, which is a measure of resources that we have at our disposal, that has gone up as the population has gone from less than 1 billion to 8 billion now. And the threats from nature, including climate, this is not widely recognized, but it's demonstrably true. Climate is a much lower threat to human life than it used to be. Contaminated water is less of a threat. Air pollution is even less of a threat because we're burning less wood and animal dung. Other species are less of a threat. So in fact, the starting point has to be we live in a world that is unprecedented in terms of how resource rich it is and how threat poor it is. And I think that needs to be the starting point. And I think that really calls into question Maher's basic worldview. And I think part of what's going on is he's not really aware of that. He's not really aware that the trend is more people means more resources and fewer threats. And because he's not aware of that, it justifies his narrative that everything bad is because of humans, because he's ignoring all the good. And then in the future, it's just going to get terrible. So that's kind of his view. And my basic view is human beings are not parasite polluters of a delicate nurturing planet. We're actually producer improvers on a wild potential planet.
You take it even further and say that this is not a benign